Morning, everybody. Let us start our class. Yesterday we stopped after saying the definition of refraction of light. Some properties of light we discussed yesterday. That is reflection, and second one, refraction of light. So just let us recall what is the meaning of refraction of light. So here we consider two media. One medium is air, another medium is water. We consider two media. Medium 1 is air. We write them as medium 1. And second medium is water. So two media. And imagine light ray comes from air and enters into water. So let us draw a perpendicular at this point of incidence. And let us extend the normal to the second medium, that is water. Now, yesterday what we studied is, suppose there is no change in the optical densities of these two media, the light would travel in this direction. This is the direction, the original direction of propagation of the light. But actually, what is happening at this point of separation of these two media, medium 1 and medium 2, light rays bend and travel. Light ray travels from one medium to another medium. It bends at the point of separation of these two media. This bending of light is called refraction. So we can define simple words. Bending of light when it travels from one medium to another medium. So the bending of light when it travels from one medium to another medium is called refraction. So where the light rays bend, and this is the point of interference, these two medium join there. So all of you, last class we said, all of you please keep a notebook always with you and note down all the important points. Once the school reopens, we check all these notes. You can note down this one. I think already you noted this point. The bending of light rays when it travels from one medium to another. Simple definition is, you can expand this definition. When light rays travels from one medium to another medium, at the point of separation of the two media, it bends and travel. This phenomenon is called refraction. And we already studied, this is called the normal. And this is called the angle of incidence. The height is called angle of incidence. And this is called angle of refraction. Once, can you define what is angle of incidence? The angle between, so what is this n and dash? N and dash is the normal We can name this one as PO and this is as OR. What is PO? PO is the incident ray and OR is the refracted ray. Now, again define angle of incidence. It is the angle. Angle is always defined between two intersected lines. Here, the two intersected lines are one is the normal, another one is the incident. So, the angle between the normal and the incident ray is called angle of incidence. Angle of incidence is defined as the angle between the incident ray and the normal. Similarly, what is the angle of refraction? This is the angle between the normal and the refracted ray. So, angle of incidence and angle of refraction both are measured with respect to the normal. Angle of incidence and angle of. Now we are going to study the next topic. It is very, very important. What is refractive index or the third law of refraction, the law of refraction. So here you see, when the light ray is traveling from one medium to another medium, it is bending and traveling. And there will be a relation between these two. So this is angle of incidence and this is angle of refraction. There is a relation between angle of incidence and angle of refraction. The relation is refractive index. So the last class as well we studied already what is a rarer medium and what is a denser medium. So rarer medium means which optical density is less is called rarer medium and the optical density is more is called a denser medium. So in this case air is a rarer medium and water is a denser medium. Glass is more denser than water. Water is more denser with respect to light. Water is more denser than air. So refractive index is denoted by N. So in this case, when light rays travels from air to this one, we can define N is equal to C by P. Here any means one question will come. Refractive index of your two media there. Medium 1 air, medium 2 is water. Air and water. So listen, then what is here we can write N21. N21. Listen carefully. N21 means refractive index of the second medium with respect to the first medium. Here two media there. Medium 1 is air, medium 2 is water. So refractive index of N21. What is the meaning? Refractive index of the second medium. In this case, water with respect to the first medium. So in this case, first medium is air. So C by V. When one medium or the first medium is air, we can use this formula. N21 is equal to C by V. Only when the first medium is air. Then what is here C? C is the velocity of light in air. That is equal to 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. So what is C? In this formula, I'll explain one by one. N21 means N is for refractive index. Refractive index is denoted by N. N21 is refractive index of the second medium with respect to first medium. So N21 is equal to C by V. C is velocity of light in air. What is the value of velocity of light in air? Is 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. Then what is V? So here you can see C and V. What is V? Velocity of light in the second medium, whatever it is. In the second medium. So this is the formula for refractive index, general formula with respect to velocity. Once more, you see, we get confusion about this one. So NAV. What is the meaning of NAV? Refractive index of A with respect to B. So N21 means refractive index of second medium with respect to first medium. So N21 is equal to C by V. C is the velocity of light in air, or 3 into 10 to the power 8. There is constant. And here V can be any medium. V is the velocity of light in which medium we say? That medium, in the second medium. So this formula, please note it down. Okay. So here we. Okay. That one. Okay. So I said you to write all these points, keep a notebook with you, and after that you can read it before next class. If you know this one, it will be very easy for us to continue the process. So refractive index, one formula we studied, N21 is equal to C by V. Now we can go to here. This about I said you before coming to this point, we are going to study the third law of refraction. So there is also called Snell's law. Snell, S-N-E-L-L, Snell's law. Snell's law is regarding the refraction. So again, once just you study, the light ray travels from one medium to another medium. The light ray is bending and travel. The reason also we said that, what is the reason for bending? Because the velocity of the light changes. These two media, the velocity of light changes. because of their different. Now we go understand this word because of the difference in the refractive index. Because of the difference in the refractive index. Now, what is Snell's law saying is the ratio of sine of angle of incidence and sine of angle of refraction is a constant. That is sine of angle of incidence to sine of angle of refraction. Sine I by sine R is a constant. In the case of reflection, once I said you always will compare and study reflection, angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. Reflection, yesterday's class. But in the case of refraction, angle of incidence and angle of refraction are not equal. They are equal only when the refractive, only certain cases. Otherwise, angle of incidence and angle of refraction are not equal. But there is a relation between angle of incidence and angle of refraction. This is the relation sin I by, for any value of angle of I and R, sin I by sin R is a constant. And that is also called refractive index. Another definition, so n is equal to sin I by sin R. You know what is sine and other trigonometric ratios? So this is the trigonometric ratio sine only. Sin I by sin R is a constant. What is a constant called? That is also called a refractive index. So we can define that this is called what? Snell's law. Now here we can write N21. Again N21 meaning I already said you. What is N21? The meaning of N21 is refractive index of the second medium with respect to first medium. N21 is equal to sin I by sin R is equal to N2 by N1. Once more, N21, refractive index of the second medium with respect to first medium, is equal to sine of the angle of incidence, sin I, and sine of the angle of refraction, sin R, is equal to N2. What is N2? Refractive index of the second medium by refractive index of the first medium. N21 is in this, any formula you can use. You can use like this. N21 is equal to sin I by sin R. You can also use the formula N21 is equal to N2 by N1. All these formula not out. This is a combined formula. You remember this formula? N21 is equal to, again always not confuse, N21 means second medium with respect to first medium. N21 is equal to sin I by sin R. Is equal to N2 by N1. See, board you can find the refractive index of some very important substances. First one is air. Okay, please go through that table once there. The value of refractive index is given. Please note down that is all no need only this first side, that is air, ice water, alcohol, kerosene, fused quartz. Here the refractive index is 1.0003 and there is no unit for refractive index. Don't confuse. Refractive index is a mere number. It has no unit. So the refractive index of air, please note down. We want that one for to solve the problem, sir. Here the value is 1.0003. What is the unit? There is no unit for refractive index because it is a ratio of velocity of light in two media. And ice 1.31, water 1.33, alcohol 1.36, kerosene 1.44. The remaining you can note down, but first these few you have to by heart it. It is especially air, ice, water, alcohol, kerosene, and glass also. Glass is given here. Almost glass is crown glass 1.52, benzene 1.50. So I think you noted this one, and also the refractive index table. I gave you the refractive index also. Refractive index. Now you write and by head few refractive indices of the important things. Only very important I said you that one. So I am writing it. I think everybody copy. This formula I write here. Okay. So today what we study, the most important formula is N21 is equal to, or N is equal to C by V. Here the first medium is air. It is air, it is N21 is equal to C by V. And again I am repeating it. C is the velocity of light, V is the velocity of light in the second medium. It will differ, change according to the, if you take glasses, the second medium one velocity will be there. We can find it out one by one. If you have any doubt about what is the velocity, one by one we will find it. What is the velocity of light in water, what is the velocity of light in glass, like that different media. Using this formula we can find it out. And next we studied here, N21 is equal to N2 by N1. We studied one formula. N21. Once more, always I say it is the refractive index of second medium with respect to fast is equal to N2 refractive index of the second medium by refractive index of the first medium. It is again is equal to sin I by sin R. If you take these first two, that is N2 by N1 is equal to sin I by sin R. Cross multiply, you get N1 sin I is equal to N2 sin R. This is also called Snell's. N1 sin I is equal to N2 sin R. So from this relation we started, N2 by N1 is equal to sin I by sin R, and cross multiplying we got N1 sin I is equal to N2 sin R. So this is also called what? Snell's law. Please note down. So in the examination, if what is Snell's law, if they ask, you can write either the first definition or even you can write this definition. So what is the first definition? Refractive index is a constant, that is the ratio of velocity of light in air to velocity of light in a medium. That is called the refractive index of the medium, not the air. That is also called Snell's law, and this is also called Snell's law. N1. What is N1? Refractive index of the first medium. Sin I. Sin of the angle of incidence is equal to N2. Refractive index of the second medium. Sin R. N1 sin I is equal to N2 sin R. So I can erase this one. Okay, all these points we in this class, first of all maximum important points we discuss. So all of you, all these points should be there in your class book. Definitely after reopening, your teachers will check it, and very useful formula what we are giving all these formula to solve the problems, to answer the questions. So from this one you can solve the problems, and also they can, if you write what is Snell's law, if you write at least this point, half of the whole mark you will get. This is this point only if you write N1 side, you forget remaining every point, and but if you remember this one, you can use this formula to solve the problems. The same way you can get the definitions. N1 side I is equal to N2 side R. If you write, and for bits it is important, 1 mark question it is important, half mark questions it is important. So all these points, write it many times and study. N1 side I is equal to N2 side R. And before closing this topics, one more formula today we can study, and that is NAB or N21, whatever it is. First only I said you the meaning, don't confuse it, is NAB means what is the meaning? Refractive index of the medium A with respect to the medium B. NAB. So N21 means refractive index of the second medium with respect to the first medium. N of AB is equal to 1 by NBA. Okay, Nagasai. Tomorrow we give more times to clear the doubts. Now see please. Please note down this one more formula, because all this topic maximum important formula we covered today only. That is what this one you don't leave it without writing. Write and practice this formula. You whenever you get time, take this running on, and derive this one, write it many times. Don't try to by heart a formula. By writing it, stick from this formula, one main formula, we are getting different formula. So all this one you write and practice it 1 or 2 or 3 times. And we require all these to solve the problems. And here this is what is N of AB. This is the refractive index of the a medium, whatever it is, glass or air, water, air and water, whatever it is. A is one medium, B is one medium. Here two media is there. Refractive index of the medium A with respect to B is the reciprocal or inverse of 1 by NBA. For example, if one is 2, another one is 1 by 2. If one is 2 by 3, another one is 3 by 2. Like that, just reciprocal if you take, you will get N of AB is equal to 1 by NB. So these are the all important formula of this today's topic, part 1. If you recollect, no need to write this part because already you wrote it. Just I am writing on the board just to keep you in touch with this formula. First we studied N is equal to C by V. Now please don't write this one because already you completed it. This is just to make you a clarity about this one. N is equal to C by V. What is N? N is the refractive. So here whenever you find C, you remember here light enters from air to another medium. One medium is air. Another medium can be anything. So how to find the velocity we discuss in the tomorrow's class. How to find the refractive index of the medium. Some students may be having the doubt. So in such a case, we discuss the complete, that is our next class, how to find the velocity of light in different media, also how to find the refractive index of different media, what is the relation between refractive index and the velocity. So today we study this one and you memorize this formula by writing it several times. Another one we studied, N21 is equal to sin I by sin R. This formula we can apply for any two media. What are the two media? We can apply this formula. And again we study N21 is equal to N2 by N1. And by combining this 1 and 2 we study N1 sin I is equal to N2 sin R. And we call this one as, this is the today's class. What is this? This is Snell's law. This is called the Snell's law. N1 sin I is equal to N2 sin R. So already I gave you a table and I asked you to note down this refractive index of some important medium. You tomorrow's class, this formula you memorize, you keep in memory, and also the important refractive indices. Some important only I said you to remember it is because we use that one always doing the problem, glass, water, air, they will ask you all this one. So hope you enjoyed the class. So please stay safe. Thank you. Okay, I hope you completed. You already noted this one. Huh? So now NS class will be continuing. Let's get it.
Hello children, good morning all of you. I hope all are good at your homes. I am Virendra, biology faculty in Pragati English Medium School. So let us talk about an important and interesting topic, that is life processes. Life processes. Life processes. Here, topics are to be covered in this session are definition of life processes, and second one, types of life processes, and one more subtopic, that is about nutrition, and fourth one, types of nutrition. Types of nutrition. Okay children, look at here, life processes. Some processes are going to be happen in an organism. Some basic functions or metabolic activities are considered as processes. So, life processes, we are saying that life processes. So, organism which is having life, those are called living organisms. Living organisms. So, living organisms can perform various functions like metabolic activities, those are called metabolic activities. Let us see one by one. Before that, you have to observe what is the definition of life processes. What is the definition of life processes? So various functions are carried out in the living organisms. For example, in my hand, it is a piece of chalk. Is it a living thing? No, it is not a living thing. Am I a living thing? You are a living thing? Yes, we are living things. So why we are saying that we are living things? Because our body can perform various functions. Because we need energy, We survive our lives. Let us see what is the definition of life processes. Definition of life processes. Basic functions carried out by living organisms. Living organisms. I'm writing here living organisms. Living organism to maintain their life on this earth are called life processes. Life processes. Once again, children, basic functions carried out by living organisms to maintain their life on this earth are called life processes. So basic functions, what are the basic functions which are going to happen in the living organism? Basic metabolic activities like digestion, respiration, excretion, all these are the metabolic activities which are basic functions which are carried out by the living organisms to maintain their life on this earth are called life processes. Please note down this definition, children. A clear instruction for you. Please maintain a separate book for biology and write important points which are very, very important for you. Okay, children. Next, what are the basic life processes which are carried out in the living organisms? Let us see what are the main basic life processes in the living organism. They are, first one, nutrition. Second one, respiration. We already discussed that. Respiration. And third one, transportation or circulation. Fourth one, excretion. And fifth one, control and coordination. Control and coordination. Simply we can say it is a stimulus and response actions. Stimulus and response actions or feedback mechanism. Simply we can say that feedback mechanism. And next one, very, very interesting topic, that is reproduction. Reproduction. This is also one of the metabolic activity, which is also one of the basic function of the living organisms. And the last one, movement and growth. Movements and growth. Movements and growth. So these are the 7 basic life processes which are carried out in the living organisms. What are they? Nutrition, respiration, transportation or circulation, excretion, control and coordination, reproduction, movements and growth. Movements and growth. So these are the basic life processes which are present in the living organisms. So these are the living characters. Simply we can say that these are the living characters which are performed by the living organisms. These type of characters or these particular type of life processes are absent in non-living things. These are the activities which are absent in non-living things. So for example, bike or motorcycles, they cannot perform these type of functions. Whereas human beings, animals, trees and plants can perform these type of life processes. So these are the main basic living characters, main basic life processes. What are the children? Nutrition, respiration, transportation or circulation, excretion, control and coordination, reproduction, movements and growth. Let us see in brief. First one, it is about nutrition. Nutrition, which means consuming of food or consumption of the food, and it is utilized by the organism with the help of digestion process. With the help of digestion process, it is about a nutrition. And second important process, that is about respiration. What is meant by respiration? During respiration, it is a process to release energy. During digestion process, we are getting inactive energy. During digestion process, we are getting inactive energy. Our body stores it in active form. But how it gets into an active form? With the help of respiration, it can release energy. It can release energy with the help of oxygen. During respiration process, we are inhaling the oxygen. So that is a respirable gas which can release energy. Next one is transportation or circulation. Transportation or circulation, which is related to circulatory system. Which is related to circulatory system. What is the function of the circulatory system? What is the basic function of this life process? It can transport nutrients which are digested in the living organism. The assimilated energy is transported from one cell to another cell with the help of transportation or circulatory system. With the help of circulation, the nutrients are to be circulated from one place to another place or organism to organism. I mean, that is about movement and transportation. That is different. Here, internal transportation of nutrients, internal transportation of different gases are carried out in the living organism with the help of circulatory system. And fourth one is excretion. What is meant by excretion? Excretion means removal of poisonous substances from the body. Removal of poisonous substances, harmful substances. So here, during nutrition process, digestion process, we are intaking of some organic materials. Those complex organic materials are converted into simpler substances. Those substances are absorbed by the human body or a living organism. That that is utilized by the organism, then it will convert into energy. After that, it could eliminate some harmful substances. It can release some harmful substances. That harmful substances need to be removed in the living organisms. So, excretion is a process to remove harmful substances from the living organisms. The process of excretion means which can remove harmful substances like most poisonous substances, ammonia, urea, uric acid. These substances are need to be removed from the living organisms for their survival. So this is about excretion. And the next one is control and coordination. Control and coordination. It is about voluntary and involuntary actions which are related to voluntary and involuntary actions which are coordinated by the brain. Which are coordinated by brain. So that's why you are saying that control and coordination. So the coordination between the organ to organ or between the organs or system to system. Here, so many systems are there. Digestive system, respiratory system, circulatory system, excretory system. All these systems are coordinated each other for various functions, isn't it? So, which are coordinated by impulses of brain. Not only with the help of brain, some of the functions, some of the metabolic activities are carried out with the help of hormones too. So, control and coordination with the help of brain, that means neural as well as hormonal function. It is a neural as well as hormonal function. And next important life process is reproduction. Reproduction. So it is also one of the process, basic process. Here, existing organism can making a new organism or new offsprings. Existing organism, it can making new organisms are called reproduction. See here, a single cell can perform all the functions. For example, we take amoeba, a unicellular organism. It can perform all the functions with the help of cell. As we know that particular cell divides into two equal halves with the help of reproduction. A single cell splits into two equal halves. So parent cell can make two individual organisms. So the process of making two offsprings or new offsprings is nothing but reproduction. The process is nothing but reproduction. Reproduction. And the last one is movements and growth. These are also basic life processes in the living organisms. Here, movements with the help of skeletal system. It is a framework of the organism. It is a framework of the living organisms, isn't it? So, in that particular framework, we are moving from one place to another place, as well as the growth, also one of the characteristics of the living things. So, in our childhood, we are very small. After that, adolescence, then converts into a organism converts into an adult. So the basic changes are nothing but growth. The basic changes from childhood to adult, the basic changes are nothing but growth. These changes are nothing but growth. So these are the main basic life processes. First one, nutrition. Second one, respiration. Third one, transportation. Fourth one, excretion. Fifth one, control and coordination. And sixth one, reproduction, and last one, movements and growth. Let us see some representation for you. Look at this screen, children. See here, the actual definition of life processes, various functions carried out by living beings which are necessary to maintain and continue life are called life processes. Please note down. For your convenience, I am representing these slides, children. Please note down in your running notes. Then, 7 main basic life processes, we already discussed that. Nutrition, respiration, transportation, excretion, movements and growth, reproduction. Here, reproduction. Let us see first life process in detail. That is about nutrition. That is about nutrition. So what is meant by nutrition, children? Nutrition, the word which comes from the nutrient. See here, nutrients, substance which provide 2 basic requirements of organisms, namely organic raw material and energy. Substance which provide 2 basic requirements of organism, namely organic raw material and energy. Let us see what is meant by nutrition. See here, see this slide, children. The process of taking in food and utilizing it is called nutrition. That means intake of food, simply we can say that intake of food is called nutrition, isn't it? So intake of food, taking of food and utilizing it is called nutrition. Simply we can say that intake of food. Please make a note, children. The term nutrition comes from the word nutrient. The word nutrient. Actually, the word nutrient, which explains about organic and inorganic element, that is an organic or inorganic element. So, look at here. A nutrient is an organic or inorganic substance required for the maintenance of life and survival of living organisms. Same, it looks like a life process, no children? See here, it is a substance, whether it is an organic or inorganic substance, required for the maintenance of life. It's required for the maintenance of life and the survival of the living organisms. So food, which is very important, it is a kind of energy substance which gives energy to the living organisms. And the last, food is taken by organisms, contains a large number of nutrients like carbohydrates, fats, proteins. Carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. So nutrients, we already discussed that nutrients are nothing but organic and inorganic substances. So the food taken by an organism that contains large number of nutrients like some organic elements like carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. Please note down, children. Okay, children. We discussed about nutrition, no? So the word nutrition comes from the nutrient. So nutrient is a substance which is required for the metabolic activities, isn't it? So this particular nutrition tells us about intake of food. That intake of food is different from one organism to another organism. One organism to another organism, the acquiring of food is different. Different in different organisms. For example, some microorganisms. Uh, have you ever seen that bread mounds, children? Bread mounds, stale bread. Some black color spots we can observe in that particular bread. What is that black color spots? I'm drawing here. See, in 8th class we learned about stale food, that is about rhizopus. Rhizopus. Black color spots. On the screen you are observing first placement, that is about saprophytes. You are seeing that. Second picture, that is about a black color spots on the stained bread. See, that black color spots are nothing but rhizopus. It is related to fungus. That is related to fungus or fungi family organism. And another example, that is in rainy season, especially in the rainy season, we can observe that some spots, those are mushrooms, which are observed in wooden plants, dead wooden plants. We can observe some small creatures, those are mushrooms. Those are harmful, but we can observe those on the dead wooden plants, isn't it? The first picture, you can observe some umbrella-like structures, no? Those are mushrooms. So mushrooms also one of the examples for fungi family. Fungi family, these are microorganisms. Some are microorganisms and some are organisms, higher organisms. See here, the rhizopus and the mushrooms are depend on dead and decaying matter. They are depends on dead and decaying matter. So those organisms which are depends on dead and decaying matter, those organisms are considered as saprophytes. Those are called as saprophytic organisms. This particular process of obtaining food from decaying matter, those particular nutrition is nothing but saprotrophic nutrition. First one you are observing on the screen, that is about saprophytic nutrition. Look at here, children. This is about saprophytic nutrition. This is the saprophytic nutrition. See, they obtain nutrition from decaying matter, dead and decaying matter. They are obtaining their food by dead and decaying matter. So another example here, see, beside the parasitic nutrition, one more nutrition is there, that is parasitic nutrition. Besides saprophytic nutrition, parasitic nutrition is there. So look at the picture. Here it is these are the leeches. We all are seen that at a point of time, these leeches and tapeworms. Here the picture, it is not clear. This is a tapeworm. So these are the parasites. So parasites are two types. Parasites are generally two types. Surface parasites, and they are living on the surface of the organism. They are living on the surface of the organism. So parasites are two types. There are ectoparasites and endoparasites. Ectoparasites and endoparasites. Here, the parasite leeches are living outside the host body. Outside the host body. So they are called ectoparasites. The parasite which can live on the surface of the living organisms are called ectoparasites. And next one, it is not clear, but it is a tapeworm, children. So tapeworm is an organism which can live inside the living organism or inside the host. Inside the host. So both these parasites are depends on the other living organisms. Please clearly observe this. These are the organisms which can live on the living, another living organisms. So these are called parasites which can live on the other living organism. In the first one, the organism which can depends on dead and decaying matter, whereas parasites depends on other living organisms. So this type of nutrition is called parasitic nutrition. So these are the parasites. They are obtaining food from other living organisms. They are called parasitic nutrition. Please make a note, children. Beside the parasitic nutrition, one more type of nutrition is there, that is about holozoic nutrition. Basing on the intake of food, organisms are divided into three categories here. First, second one, this is third one. So, basing on the intake of food of higher organisms, like in first picture, it is about carnivores. For example, lion, cheetah, fox, they can eat flesh, isn't it? So they are flesh eating animals. Those are called carnivores. Whereas here the picture it representing about elephant. Elephant, cow, giraffe, all these organisms, they can eat plants. They are plant eaters. Simply we can say that herbivores. And the third picture, it representing us, human beings. With our own will, we can eat both plants as well as flesh, isn't it? So, human beings are considered as omnivores. Here, these organisms which can eat basing on their food habitat, they are divided into three categories, that is carnivores, herbivores and omnivores. Why we are saying that holozoic nutrition for these three categories of organisms? Because they can eat solid type of food materials. They can eat solid type of food materials, and those solid type of food materials are converted into simpler substances with the help of digestion process. With the help of digestion, the solid complex substances are converted into simpler substances with the help of digestion process. So because of that particular nutrition, we can say that holozoic nutrition. So these are the organisms also depends on other living organisms. Here, whatever we discussed, saprophytic, parasitic, holozoic nutritions, all these organisms, whatever I'm representing here, the organisms depends on dead and decaying matter or other living organisms. All these organisms are considered, all these organisms are considered as heterotrophs. Heterotrophs. Look at here, children. So the main common point between these three types of nutritions are heterotrophs. Those organisms are performing heterotrophic nutrition. Those organisms are considered as heterotrophs. The organisms are considered as heterotrophs. So heterotrophic mode of nutrition are divided into three types: saprophytic, parasitic, holozoic nutrition. Please make a note, children. Nagavalli, what is the doubt, children? What is the doubt? Nagavalli. Please tell me your doubt, children. Nagavalli. Deepthi. Yes, Deepthi? So let's recollect what are the topics which are covered in this session, children. We discussed about the definition of the life process and types of life process and the nutrition and the basic types of obtaining food of the organisms we discussed. In the next session, we are going to learn about nutrition in plants. I hope you are enjoyed my class. Thank you.